Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are joined by a special guest, Jack. Jack, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hey everyone, my name is Jack, and I am a current sophomore at UBC studying computer science. And over the summer, I did the Explore internship program at Microsoft. And what the Explore program is it's a first-year internship, and I think every big tech company has one. Like for example, Google has the STEP program. Uber has the STAR, there's Amazon University, Facebook University. So basically Explore is Microsoft's version.
So today we'll be talking about how Jack got his internship at Microsoft and also tips on how you can land a software engineering internship. Also, we filmed a video for Jack's channel about how I got into Waterloo Computer Science. I'll link that video and Jack's channel down in the description box below, so make sure you check them out. So Jack, as an Explore intern, what were you doing? Was it like a software engineering internship, or what was it exactly?
Yeah, so the Explore program is a mixture of software engineering and product management. And as the name of the internship suggests, it allows freshmen and sophomores to, explore their passions about what they want to do. So basically what happens is you're placed on a team with other interns, and you have a project that you want to get done, and you really get to experience the full process of being a PM, doing market research, and then actually doing the development and everything. And Microsoft definitely cares about their interns a lot. Throughout this whole entire internship, there wasn't never a time when I felt that there was a question and there was nobody to help me. There was definitely lots of support, both from recruiters and senior devs. I think that was really an amazing experience.
Yeah, I've heard in some Microsoft videos, their company culture is very focused around learning. So
yeah,
it sounds like a great company culture. Okay, so before we talk about how you got the internship, how many internships did you apply for?
So I actually have a Google Doc, and on there I think I applied to around 20 internships. Most of them were just first year internships. So for example, STEP, Uber Star, and everything. And I've also applied to some other smaller companies as well, but I wasn't really expecting much from those. I would say though, definitely do apply to internships in first year. I think a lot of people, they just don't apply because they think, oh, I gotta wait until second year, third year to get more experience. But I think just going through the process of writing those applications and then going through the process of studying LeetCode would definitely give you a head start.
Yeah, for sure. So what experience did you have when you applied? Did you have any past internships or any cool side projects that you had worked on?
So for me, I had one past internship. It was at this organization called Game of Apps, and it wasn't really for-profit internship. It was a non-profit organization, and they were basically just trying to teach high school students how to code and everything. And I think I was kind of part of that program for about a month, and then afterwards they had this opportunity for past program mentees to apply for their internship. And what would happen is you just build an app, and it was a paid internship as well. It was $1 above minimum wage, but at that point I didn't really care too much about the pay. It was definitely sort of the experience and also the resume boost as well, because it's nice having experience on your resume that's not just working at McDonald's and everything.
Awesome.
In terms of projects, basically most of the projects that I did before, I kind of did while I'm in university. I mostly just searched up on the internet different things that you can do, different websites, cool little apps that you can build, and I just built those and put them on a resume. And I think for these projects, you don't need to make it too complex. Just a simple CRUD application, create, read, update, delete. Even that I think would still look quite impressive.
Awesome. And so when you applied, did you have a referral, or did you just apply through the company website?
I actually did not have a referral. I just applied through the company website.
Okay. And did you know any recruiters or anything like that?
No, I did not at that point in time. I'd say it definitely helps to get a referral and like messaging recruiters and whatnot. I think at that point in time, it's really like a game of strategy and game of luck as well. So luck definitely plays a big factor as well. Luck and timing.
Yeah, definitely. Like speaking of timing, like when exactly did you apply? Like September, October?
So I applied in September. I would say like the ideal time to apply would probably be in August because like
Oh wow.
I know it sounds really it's really early, but my friend who got the Google Step internship, she applied the day it was open. Like it was sometime like um, late August. And what like happens with these internships is that they get placed like really fast. Like the positions filled really fast. So I was extremely lucky and fortunate to have gotten an opportunity to interview, even though it was so late, like into the year, like September and everything. And I know this other friend that I know who interviewed for the exact same Explore program, but he like applied a lot later, and like he's really smart as well. I'd say he's probably like smarter than me, but like because of bad timing and everything, it was difficult for like these companies to try and place him, purely because like they've already all the other candidates are already like pretty deep in the interview process.
Yeah, so it's sort of like a rolling basis type of thing, like first come, first serve.
I wouldn't put it like that. It's more like that you give these companies more time to like evaluate you and everything. I wouldn't say it's like as soon, I mean it helps certainly, but what's more important is definitely your experience, your like your projects, and basically your qualifications.
Okay. So after you applied, what was like the next step? Like what was the interview process like? Did you have any like phone screens, on sites? What was that like?
So there was a phone screen, and then after the phone screen, it was on site. So like I can't really talk too much about the details. So what I can say is like definitely use LeetCode to your advantage. Like when you're doing LeetCode, don't just like do the question, try and grind it out. Like actually try and see if you can find a friend and pick a question like a medium problem, or maybe even like an easy problem if you're a beginner, and then just try and while you're coding, explaining your solution, and try and get into that habit of like talking while you're thinking. And it's really about like how you handle pressure as well. So I think what these like big tech companies are really looking for is they potential basically. So when you're like applying to medium-sized companies or like maybe even like startups, what they're looking for is like those companies are looking for people who just come in and do the job like really well and make the company money basically, right? Because those companies are looking for like somebody to just come in and get the job done. But like for these big tech companies, like they already have like a lot of like capital already. So I guess at that point, what they're looking for is somebody who has like a lot of potential to grow, and somebody who could like later on down the line become like grow into the role and be really good at that point. So they really like look at your potential. So they look at like how you will handle pressure, basically how you explain your solutions, like can you learn, can you pick up new technologies quickly, and I think those are really important things.
So would you say like the interview questions were like, let's say we were to compare it to like LeetCode, would it be like easy questions, medium questions, were there like hard questions even?
So like I don't think there's a lot of hard questions, but those questions are definitely doable. But I think what's more important is like how you solve those questions, not necessarily the questions themselves. So like even if someone I think gets the optimal solution to one of these coding questions, like if they don't like communicate well, or like if like they don't demonstrate that they fully understand the solution, like you just memorize the solution like online or something like that, then like I think that would be pretty bad. It's really important that you also explain like time space complexity, like talk about the different edge cases to like showcase that you sort of consider everything. So I know especially like for Google at least, this is what my friend tells me, is that they don't really ask hard type of questions, but their expectations for how you solve them is very, very high. So the questions they ask that aren't necessarily like LeetCode hard, they're more like medium, easy-ish, but like the way they expect you to solve them is very, very high.
Interesting, interesting. So after you had like the on-site, then you got like the job offer, and then you did the internship. So congrats on that. Um, it's a great accomplishment for getting like a Microsoft internship as a first-year student. So yeah, good job, good job.
Thank you very much.
So now that we've talked about how you landed the internship, let's offer some advice on how other people can land like software engineering internships. So would you recommend people just like applying to as many internships as they can? Like,
I think that's the right attitude to have. I definitely agree with that. Like go for the shotgun approach. Just apply to as many as possible, and well, actually, like apply to jobs that you would still want to work in though. Don't just apply for the sake of applying. Like that's kind of bad, because now you're just like wasting the company's time. Like if they offered an interview but you're not even thinking of like going and working there, then but any job or any internship that you are interested in, like you would be willing to work in if they offered you, then I'd say still go for that.
yeah, because I think the issue is with, especially with a lot of like first years, maybe even second years, they might think they're like, oh, I'm so underqualified, I'm not going to apply for internships. Moving on to the next question, do you think people need to have experience, so like maybe like a past internship or like cool side projects to get an internship? Or like, do you know any interns that like didn't have any past internships, didn't have any side projects, things like that?
Those definitely happen a lot. So going back to what I was mentioning earlier about potential. So like, again, it comes down to like if you can demonstrate that you're able to learn quickly and grow quickly and really like challenge yourself basically. So I'd say like the whole point of having these projects, doing past internships, is to show that like you have experience doing those things, of like getting into a tough situation and then like figuring out like finding a solution from that tough situation and really trying to grow as a person. So like when you're doing these side projects, I'd say like try not to just do it for your resume, and like actually challenge yourself and code things up. Don't just like follow a tutorial, because anyone can go on YouTube, search up how do I do this, and then just like copy and paste the code and everything, and like that doesn't really do anything for you. Like if you actually go through and really like focus on solving these technical challenges yourself, and like really learning and growing a lot from that, I think that would definitely help you out a lot more. And it really helps out a lot as well, like during these coding interviews, is if you have experience in the past like handling pressure and difficulty, then like that experience kind of builds up, and it really helps. So like I know like a few people who don't even know what Git version control is. They still like manage to get like Facebook offers and like these other big tech company offers. Is because like they're just smart, basically they demonstrated through their GPA, and they also demonstrated like through their projects and through their well, maybe not projects, but like basically like their mindset is like a growth mindset basically.
So it's not like imperative that you have like side projects or experience, but it certainly does help, right?
Yeah, it definitely helps. And I think like a friend of mine whose parents work as HR, and like they told me that what they were looking for was like people who was growing in their GPA. So maybe they may not have done well in their classes in first year, but if they look at their grades for like year 2, year 3, if they see that like really positive trend, then they would consider that candidate over someone who has a really good average like first year, but like it remains like flat.
Interesting. So you mentioned you used LeetCode to prepare for your technical interviews. So how many LeetCode questions did you actually do? Because they can really, there's a lot of questions on LeetCode, and the interviewer can ask like pretty much anything. So like how many questions did you do, or like what type of questions did you study, things like that?
I did like 60 questions. It's like
a lot.
Mostly easy and mediums. And what I usually do is like if I'm stuck on a question for too long, I don't think there's any point continuing on, because at that point you're sort of just like just messing around, trying whatever, running the code, and like I don't think that really helps. Like what I usually do is just I go to the discussion area in LeetCode. So usually like that's the place when people share their solutions, and like from there, what I do is I look for these really posts that have a lot of upvotes, and usually those posts like offer an explanation for the algorithm. And I don't look at the code; I just look at their algorithm, and I try to see if I can translate that algorithm into code. So at least like it has, I'm doing something, right? Instead of just copying and pasting code. So that's like how I was able to solve 60 questions basically. But like at first when I started LeetCode, I was making a lot of like beginner mistakes. It was just like me spamming a bunch of like for loops and like and just doing whatever it takes to just get the question done, get it over with, and then once you're done, like don't even take the steps to analyze the algorithm, try to get the optimal algorithm. It's just like whatever passed the test, I just move on. So definitely don't do that. Like go back, read other people's solutions, and see if you can like optimize your algorithm and really understand the time complexity and space complexity and like certain trade-offs and things like that.
Awesome. So aside from LeetCode, did you like use any other resources like cracking the coding interview or like books or other YouTube videos or anything like that?
I actually used this thing called Algo Expert. It's like it's like basically what they do is they take LeetCode questions, they rewrite them, and then they like have an entire video explanation for it. And I think I bought that around can't remember when I bought it, but like it was definitely during my first year sometime. I was like just on YouTube and I saw this video and I checked it out, bought the program, and it's actually pretty good. Like they offer some pretty good like interview advice and things like that. So I definitely, like, if you are planning on spending money doing interview prep, that's one of those things that I recommend. But yeah, just LeetCode and the Algo Expert program.
Disclaimer, this video is not sponsored by Algo Expert, but Clement, if you're watching this, hit me up.
Oh.
So with on LeetCode, you have like all sorts of problems. You have like string problems, array problems, like recursion. You have like sorting, searching. Like what sort of topics would you say are like more important, especially for like first years? Because I don't think companies would expect like first years to know as much. So like what would you say are like the more important topics to study?
Definitely arrays. Know the array data structure well. Also like recursion as well. I think that's pretty important. I mean, I think you learn that in first year in computer science. Like every major university probably teaches that. So recursion, array data structure, definitely like tree data structures. I don't think you necessarily have to know about tries, but that could be something that might pop up. But like usually problems that involve the trie data structure are kind of hard problems. In that case, then I don't necessarily expect those type of problems to pop up, but they may.
Mm-hmm. What about like graphs or like DP or like things like that?
That I'm actually not sure about.
Okay. Like, did you study them yourself?
Yeah, I studied graphs. Like when you say DP, you mean dynamic programming or?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think dynamic programming problems are probably gonna pop up in like first year interviews.
Okay. So like mainly focus especially on like arrays.
Yeah, like array data structures, just like know all the basic data structures. So like not just arrays, but like trees and different like special kinds of trees, like binary search tree, things like that.
Okay. So let's say you were to give advice to people who are looking for summer internships. What sort of advice would you give to them, especially to first years like me?
Well, like I think you're really smart. You definitely like want to make a personal website. That definitely helps. Start working on projects right away. Like do well in your classes. That also helps, but don't like obsess over them too much. So just try to optimize your time. figure out which classes will like benefit you the most. So like your CS and your math courses, and try to like do really well in those. And I think for applying to first year internships, they also require like your GPA, or they require like a transcript and your university transcript, things like that. So definitely work on projects, get a personal site, do well in your CS classes and math classes, and then just apply basically.
Awesome. Okay. So thank you, Jack, for joining me on my channel today to discuss how to get a software engineering internship and, advice for first years getting internships. Again, we filmed a video on Jack's channel about how I got into Waterloo CS. I'll link that video and Jack's channel down in the description box below. And yeah, that concludes this week's video. Thank you for joining me, Jack. And yeah, see you all next week.